Hey everybody, I'm Lauren Kalil with Morning Chalk Up, and today we have some breaking news. It was just announced, Matt O'Keefe on his social media, he will be stepping down from president of Live and Loud Sports. Today we have him on the show to talk all about it. How's it going, Matt?
It's going well, thank you. Yeah, just got home to Boston from Miami this morning. I've been down there for a little over 2 weeks with Wodapalooza, so happy to be home. And yeah, sort of a big day in my life. So happy to talk all about it.
Certainly a big day, especially after just getting back from Wodapalooza. It was the 10th year anniversary, and now you're kind of turning the chapter, a page in the chapter of the next book. Let's just first start off with what led to this big decision that you're making to step down.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. I think my family, my health, and just looking at cool new opportunity that I have on the horizon, and focusing more on things that I want to focus on. I've been an athlete representative for years. It's an area that I want to make sure I continue to really focus on. I have some stuff that I'll talk about next week that I'm going to go and do. I really do want to focus energy and focus now about being grateful about my time with Loud and Live Sports and Loud and Live, Nelson and Marco, the founders, and my time with all those events, and sort of celebrate that, because this isn't, there was no like abrupt ending, or
Mhm.
I didn't get fired, I didn't, this was just like a mutual, good time for all of us. It was time for me to move on, and I'm sad and happy at the same time. It's I'm so deeply connected to what we do with Loud and Live Sports. But something had to give, and I'm proud that I was able to muster up the strength to make that decision.
Sure. It's tough when you're somebody like you who's so busy and you have your hands in so many different things within the CrossFit community and the industry. But do you remember the moment that you thought maybe it was best for you to step down and pursue other opportunities?
Yeah, a loaded question, because I think interestingly enough, if you're in the event world and you go through an event like Wodapalooza, is so unique, right? And I think some people at the games can relate to this too, because it's such a monumental task to execute it. I mean, every year you go through that, it adds to your love and dedication, but it also takes a little piece of you away, because it's such a hard process, And I think even event organizers know events are hard, but when with the passion and energy that goes into a Wodapalooza, particularly, it's even harder. There's just so much emotionally at stake. There's extreme ownership from so many groups, that it's rewarding and tiring at the same time. So you know, it's something that I didn't probably until like the last, probably 6 to 12 months, start thinking seriously about. And then, sort of leading up to this, event, it was really apparent to me that we needed to make some changes in my life, and I'm excited about it. And by the way, like, what people will hear I'm going to do moving forward, and I want to make sure I address that too, is just I want to celebrate Loud and Live and my time there, and properly articulate how grateful I am with that, and not overshadow that with anything else right now. But I have an exciting opportunity that I want to talk about next week, and that's a big part of it too.
But not willing to talk about that opportunity just yet.
Yeah. It's just not about that today. Like, I
Yeah.
thought long and hard about that, and it's just, today I closed a door that I'm incredibly grateful for. I spent the last 4 years of my life, and if people really saw the time and energy that was put into that, they'd understand the emotion behind it, and I really want it to be about how grateful I am for the opportunity and what I got to do over the last 4 years. And it's so hard for me to walk away from that, especially experiencing it, this last weekend. I
Mhm.
love particularly that event, and I love everybody that's a part of that, and I love being able to help facilitate that. I just, I just want to celebrate that right now and tell everybody that is close to me how grateful I am for all that they did for me in that process before I go and start talking about what I'm doing next.
Over the last 4 years working with Loud and Live, is there a standout moment that is, like, the best memory you had working with the company?
Oof, that's hard. Yeah, there's so many great moments. Like think about my time in. Hey Jack, can you stop? Sorry about that. Where I'm in my kitchen, by the way, so I'm back home. This is me
Family's
above
gotta
my
eat.
knee from insertion into regular life. Yeah, I mean, like I was, really kind of when I took the job and jumped both feet in, all of a sudden things changed drastically overnight. I can't remember the exact timeline, but it wasn't but a few short months after I took the job that sanctionals arrived, and we were
Mhm.
rushing out. I remember, I was reflecting on this today, being in Santa Cruz at CrossFit HQ, meeting some things and getting on a plane on a red eye and to go to the office and landing and my phone exploded with like 500 texts and Greg had
Mm.
announced that Wodapalooza was going to be a sanctional, and I was like, "What? I was just there. Like nobody said anything, And talked to him that day, and just like I think of moments like that where it was like things changed immediately, and how my team reacted, and how we mobilized, and we you know tried to get more involved with events and did. Um, and then each Wadapalooza really stands out, distinctly in their own right. Like just, great moments on Fridays and Saturday nights on those stages lit up, times, that I've had to reflect on, you know, what you see as your work coming to life, like I had
Mm.
so many of those moments last weekend. And like really the most important piece is just the people. Like, I get to look at 1,000 people that volunteer to make that happen every year. And those moments on Thursday where I get to speak to them, and say thank you. Those are because it's like a moment where like you really can't say how you really feel. You try to just really tell them how grateful you are, because honestly none of it's possible without them. Those have been great life moments for me, because people look to me for leadership, and they come down there to be led through a process like that, and they do such a great job for me and for my organization. And honestly, one of the proudest pieces was this year, getting to recognize guys like Guido, who founded the event,
Yeah.
Noah, who's been such an integral part of the event's growth, and Dylan and Stacy, Dylan Molitsky, who's been there since day one, Stacy Konstantinov, same, who manages all the volunteers, and in Virginia, Guido's wife. That core team dreamt this, brought it to a point, and I was just able to jump in and help it grow, and to be able to you know me know a little bit what was going on, not sure really kind of how things would play out, perfectly after the event, in terms of timing. I knew it was probably my time had come, and to be able to spend a few minutes giving them their due, before I was off in the sunset, was really special for me.
And knowing this year at the 10th anniversary of Wodapalooza, on Sunday, as you're standing there, the weekend is wrapping up, you see everything come to life, especially after such a hard year having to cancel because of COVID. What was going through your mind as you took that final, uh, stance on the big stage, just knowing that the end of an era for yourself was ending?
Yeah, I was really at peace with it. The day dealt enough challenges that it wasn't really, there wasn't a whole lot of time to think about that in my part in it. I try not to anyway. Like it's just like putting people in positions to succeed, and it was a tough day to succeed. Um, so I was really just wrapped in making sure we got, well, first of all, we had a curfew at 10:10, and it was 10:01 and the last heat's still on the floor, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm sort of like consumed with Dylan and like, okay, okay, we got a lot to do in like 9 minutes here.
Dang Florida
Um,
weather.
and so, we had to make some changes to workouts, which is exciting. It's like why we do it. Those moments are really
Mm,
cool. But yeah, I didn't. Some of the last couple of days have been very reflective. Walking through as it gets torn down, it always is anyway. But every one of those moments, whether it was me watching the scaled division, and some of them probably don't even know I was watching, but I try to make a point to watch a heat of every division if I can, and the adaptive, and like every one of those moments accumulate to like a really special ending for me there. And that moment at the end of the night, it wasn't that like teary emotional like, oh, it's all over, I can't believe it, because maybe that also helps me with understand that I'm making the right move here.
mm.
So it was just I love it to death, and I'll continue to go back to it, and support it any way I can. It just it's the right time. So yeah, I think that was just proud that we finished the job really, and wanted to thank a lot of people for that, and that's what I did.
Did the stress of the pandemic have anything to do with the decision making that maybe you wanted to walk away from this?
No, I mean, a lot of people will probably look at this and be like, "Wow, you got through like the hardest time in event history."
Yeah.
What could be harder? No, I mean, it offered me a lot of perspective on, being home more, which I am very rarely because of the job I do. I travel
Mm.
a ton. I'm in Miami most weeks, and I live in Boston, and so yeah, I mean, it slowed my life down a little bit to a speed that got attracted to again. I think I told somebody last week, like I was on a podcast and said I love chaos. I always have. Volume is like comforting for me. I'm better in those environments. My assistant tells me that all the time. She's like, "You're the hardest person to corral when we have like 2 hours of calls a week. But when you have every half hour for 12, it's you're on point. And but yeah, it's the pandemic. I think for a lot of people had positives and negatives. Same for me. It did give me a lot of perspective for sure. And again, like going through that, I was never like, I'm walking towards the end.
Mm.
But again, things come up, and the opportunities that I have on the horizon are super exciting, and it posed obviously a hard decision, but in the end, as I sort of got to process it, it was easy because it's the right thing for me and my family and the people that I'm going to be doing it with.
So were you seeking a new opportunity and
No,
then decided to leave, or you already kind of knew like you wanted to pursue something else? Like what was the timeline there?
no, no, not really. And I think people will understand it greatly when they see it. But no, I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't looking for anything there. Just like I wasn't looking for anything when I came down to Miami for Loud and Live. I was very focused on what I was doing, and um, it just was, it was the right opportunity. So, I was, you know, I'd be an idiot to ignore it. And it's also super exciting. So, yeah, no, it was not, it wasn't that. I have, fortunately, I've had a lot of opportunities that were presented to me over the years, and even my time at Loud and Live, and I've never even thought about it, you know.
Mm.
But this one was unique, and it was something that I needed to really think about and make a move on.
And with this next opportunity, you feel like you'll have more work life family balance. Is that really what you're looking for?
Yeah, yeah, I do. It'll allow me to be home more, really all the time for the most part in regional here. So yeah, it's like less airplanes, it's more time. I mean, my kids are 13 and 15. My wife's been a single parent for years, and so my daughter's going to go to college in 2 years. I think it's really cool that they got to see. they've never really had the context because they've never really been. They've been to like a day of Wodapalooza, so they get to like say, okay, I get what Dad's spending all his time on, but yeah, that's like that's a big one for me. Is I in COVID, I definitely became more of a homebody, and I'm really looking forward to that. That's you don't know how good you got it sometimes until you don't really have what you had. And when I was on the road, I just always thought like that was the way life was, and it was super cool, and I got to travel all over the world, and it was wild. But travel became pretty strenuous over the last year because it was I wanted to be home, and it was harder. So that part's a huge factor. Yeah. And
Mm.
I'm like, it's what I'm honestly equally excited about, is just being here more and being more present.
In your posts on social media, it's only really been up for about, 30 minutes or now. We have a lot of reactions on it. Is your phone just going insane? Oh, it dings again. Right on cue.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of great messages. Honestly, I haven't had anybody tell me to screw yet, so we're we're good. Um, yeah, it's I have so many people, and that's like really what I want to hammer home. Like I sometimes wonder who even cares what I'm doing, and because it isn't about it, it's about who I do it with, and it's about the work, and it's this whole like phased like announcement thing. Like I do want to wave the flag with what I want to do forward. I really have a lot of people to talk to and properly say in a video like chat or like in person thank you, because man, I'm like, I pinch myself with what I get to do every day, and I do because everybody that I need to talk to trust me, and I've got to talk to a lot of them over the last couple of days, but there's so many more, and I really want to focus on that. The next week or so, and genuinely say thank you without anything else sort of there right now, because it's about that, like, hey, you guys have all trusted me beyond my wildest dreams and allowed me to spread my wings and fly. And we've done a lot of cool stuff together. And I really am grateful for that. And I want people to know that. And then, we can talk about what's next, after that.
Matt O'Keefe, the last 4 years, a lot of great opportunities. You've brought so many amazing events to life for us. Good luck in this next chapter, and we really look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing next.
Thank you, Lauren. Thanks for having me. And hopefully, maybe we'll talk next week.
Yeah, we are sitting on the edge of our seat, and I want to talk to you about that next opportunity. But until then, really enjoy all of these text messages and people supporting you with the next step.
Thanks, Lauren. Have a great night.
You too.